Joining us, I'm student meteorologist Zach Covey.
I'm student meteorologist Matt Reagan. It's Tuesday.
It is. We're back like normal. I feel like we're here every Tuesday.
Yeah, I think we're trending.
Normals.
Yeah,
We're
the normal
trending.
desks.
Yeah. That's why people come back.
I think so. But we've got a lot to talk about today because, as many people woke up to see, it is cool outside.
Yeah, very cool. We're going to, well, I know specifically me as I was getting ready before a show, looking at the temperatures. We'll show you those temperatures, but we'll also show you those high temperatures. You may be surprised just how warm we actually got today.
Yeah, I got a little warmer. I layered up a little too much, I think. The South Florida in me layered up too much.
No, it's perfect outside. A little chilly this morning.
Yeah.
A little chilly, I will admit. I was shivering on my way to Atmo Physics, but the afternoon seemed to warm up, at least in my taste.
And this is a big change for us here because it's been hot over the last few weeks. Now we're seeing that finally starting to feel a little bit more like fall.
Yeah, the jet finally dipped down. A little trough moved across our area. Unfortunately, the trough of low pressure hasn't scooted to the east, and that's why a lot of those low clouds still sitting there, also allowing us to not really warm up. We'll be showing that on our radar as well. Tons of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on, especially a severe weather threat in the plains that we'll be touching on just a little bit, as well as sports. We're going to be talking about sports a little bit later on, but right now we're going to send it out to Jake for a look at what's going to happen today on the show.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. We have a lot to talk about later on in the show, but for now, I'm reporting some 60s. I've been waiting for this for the entire semester. Currently in Tallahassee, 64 degrees under overcast skies. Dew point sitting at 58, 81% humidity. Those clouds are obviously sticking around, so humidity is still a little bit high, but that is going to be decreasing as we go on through the week. Now, satellite and radar is pretty quiet throughout the entire southeast, except for you might see this little pocket of cloud cover and rain activity up to our northeast. That's actually Tropical Storm Kate, which was just announced yesterday. That is no immediate impact towards the U.S. though, so we can sit pretty regarding that. Tonight's forecast: 50 degrees under clear skies, a very cool night. Nice and calm wind, 5 miles an hour out of the north-northwest. So jacket is going to be a necessity for many of you out there, but it's going to be awesome. Sneak peek into the next week. It's actually going to warm up a little bit for the next couple of days. Temperature of about 80 degrees tomorrow, but once we get into the weekend, just in time for homecoming, things are going to really cool down. So let's take it back to the desk with Matt and Zach.
All right, thank you, Jake. I like that cool down. I like what you're talking about coming up. I'm really excited for this weather because it's been hot. We've been saying this all week. Sweater weather is almost upon us.
Oh yeah, I've down in Orlando this past weekend. Disney, of course. It's Christmas time down there. My favorite time of the year. I was sweating. I was sweating. It was not fun. So this weather feels very nice to me, especially coming from Virginia. So very Virginia-like.
Yeah, and it's going to dip down even cooler, maybe a little bit more Virginia-like here over the weekend, and we'll be talking about that more. We've got a busy week this week. It's homecoming week.
Yeah.
And we have a football game on Saturday as well.
Oh, I think you're transitioning into sports.
I am. It's that time of day. We're going to be talking about sports here at FSU Weather because we love it and we know you love it as well.
First off, huge slate of games, but we'll start with Florida State. Something I found interesting. Florida State head coach Jimbo Fisher, very big move on the depth chart. Listed on the depth chart, we normally list who's the first string, who's the second, who's the third. Very big move started yesterday by Coach Jimbo Fisher, bumpering up the depth chart QB. It's Everett Golson or Sean McGuire, which means the first spot on that depth chart now goes to either quarterback. No set quarterback is set from this point on throughout the season, at least for this game, but it could be throughout the rest of the season, in my opinion. It could be McGuire or Golson all the way.
I think that can make for an interesting dynamic because most of these players, these couple quarterbacks, could be playing for a spot in the NFL later on. So they want to start as much as they can.
And, of course, with that loss to Clemson this past week, a heartbreaking loss, might I add, this is a team that, obviously, the Florida State era is over for now. But with a team filled with young talent, including talented freshmen and sophomores, I think Jimbo Fisher moving Sean Golson up says, hey, not Everett Golson, Sean McGuire up. If they move McGuire up, I think Jimbo Fisher's basically saying, hey, you stick around one more year. The starting job is yours. This is McGuire's opening for the rest of the year. Possibly could be ending Golson's season.
Yeah, it could be, and that's going to be an interesting play to see this weekend. Make sure you head out there. It's going to be a good homecoming game. Yep. We also have the rest of the college football playoffs. The rankings do come out tonight.
All right, Matt, let's see your first ones.
All right, we're going to bring up my picks right now. Here's on the screen. This is what we're going to be looking like after tonight. Clemson, I've just got number 1. They beat us. Yep. I believe that I think the ACC should be on top. Although we lost, I think that we should be rooting for our Clemson Tigers. Ohio State, number 2. Alabama is going to be number 3, and Oklahoma State is going to be sneaking into the top 4.
Very cool. All right, I see your first 2 out, Baylor and Notre Dame. So, you know, overall, your picks, in my opinion, very good. We go to mine, I just have 1 switch up. That's simply my number 2 and number 3. I've got Ohio State and Alabama switch. I think Alabama's win this past week was too noticeable to keep them at that 3rd spot. Ohio State, of course, with their QB controversy still happening after the previous arrest 2 weeks ago. So Alabama, Ohio State, I've got switched. But notice, Oklahoma State, both me and you had Oklahoma State at 4. I think that was one of the most impressive victories we've seen all year against an unranked TCU team who I don't even have in my top 6.
Yeah, they pretty much curb stomped TCU. It was not a pretty game for them, but I think that does warrant them being in the top 4. And it's going to change a lot over the next few weeks.
Of course, and those college football playoffs come out at 7 o'clock, just about an hour, on ESPN.
Yep.
All right, let's send it on out to Chelsea. Chelsea, let's talk a little weather. What's going on?
Thanks, guys. Today we've been seeing pretty chilly temperatures. We were looking at a low of 57 degrees, a high of 68, which is actually a lot lower than our average for November 10th around this time of year. But our current temperatures in Tallahassee, we're looking at 64 degrees, pretty much upper 50s, low 60s around the Big Bend area, though in Carabel we're looking at a little bit higher at 70 degrees and 67 in Apalachicola. So around the coast it's a little bit warmer over there. But looking at our infrared satellite, we will be seeing plenty of cloud cover still above us, though it will be clearing out as the night progresses and as this week goes on. But for our high temperatures, Tallahassee sitting at a 68 degrees, pretty comfortable, a little bit chilly though, and basically mid to upper 60s around the whole entire Big Bend area. And again, a little bit warmer near the coast, near Apalachicola, and near Carabel. Tallahassee though, we're seeing only a 1 degree Fahrenheit temperature drop today, though in Mariana we're looking at 3-degree increase, and you can see in Perry though we're looking at a 12-degree temperature drop, and that, my friends, is due to a cold front situated right above there, a little bit near Cedar Key as well down there. Water vapor though, we're looking at plenty of dry air situated above us, though that is in the upper atmosphere. We won't really be feeling that until maybe around Friday, when we'll be seeing our temperatures decreasing once again. Though we are seeing a low pressure system situated off the coast of North Carolina that's bringing in some precipitation off their coast. On the sand though, for those of you heading out to the beach tomorrow, we will be seeing a low surf of 1 to 2 feet, so it will be a great beach day. Though if you are going out, our UV index will be pretty high, so I do recommend bringing some sunscreen with you to protect your skin. It's always important to do that. And for you boaters going out a little bit farther into our sea, again, low waves, 1 to 2 feet, pretty smooth, maybe an occasional gust or 2, winds at 5 to 10 knots. And for tonight, for those of you going out tonight, our temperature, our low will be 50 degrees. It'll be pretty clear, so again, those clouds will be clearing up. Nice cool night, so I do recommend bringing a jacket with you. And for our forecast tomorrow, a high of 79 degrees, so again, we'll be warming up as our day progresses tomorrow, and it will start with a cool temperature, pretty chilly, and our skies will be clearing up. But for the next 7 days, we see our clouds will be clearing up and our temperatures will decrease once again on Saturday. Great for homecoming, and we might be seeing those rain chances increase on Monday. But let's take it out to Jake with Around the Southeast.
All right, thank you very much, Chelsea. Congratulations. That was her first time on the wall. You killed it, Chelsea. Awesome job. Let's talk the southeast here. Very clean throughout much of the region, much like it was here in Tallahassee, except for, as I mentioned previously, Tropical Storm Kate being a little pesky out over here in North Carolina. Nothing towards, no U.S. impacts to speak of, though. Also some garden variety showers trying to pop up in regions of South Florida. Very cool throughout much of the southeast. 58 degrees in Savannah, 63 in Wilmington. A little bit warmer towards our west, though. 71 degrees over in Shreveport, Louisiana. And as always, South Florida just being stubborn. 82 degrees in Miami, 82 as well in Orlando. Heat indices are pretty negligible throughout much of the southeast as temperatures are below the 80-degree mark. But towards South Florida, you can't necessarily ignore that. 91 degrees down in Key West. That's what it feels like out there. So still staying pretty hot, as is the case usually for South Florida. Water vapor imagery, lots of dry air over the state of Florida, stretching all the way down. This cold, you could tell this cold front passed over through Orlando earlier in the day today and is beginning to make its way towards Miami. We anticipate that to stall out, though, as is the case typically for most fronts, really until the winter time. Current dew points, this also reflects where the front is. Up towards the north, dew points are much lower, 49 degrees in Atlanta, but towards the south is where it's staying very, very muggy. 74 in Miami, 76 down in Key West. Futurecast through the night on Tuesday. Clouds are going to be starting to creep their way in towards here, but nothing too active except for some shower and thunderstorm activity over towards Texas. Through the day on Wednesday, we see another front beginning to form up from Iowa and Illinois, stretching down towards Houston and Brownsville. That's going to move towards us through the night on Wednesday into Thursday. And as we take that through the rest of the day on Thursday, it's going to begin to creep its way towards here. Could make life a little bit uncomfortable, but nothing we can't handle. It's going to make things very, very nice for the weekend ahead. Tonight's forecast, 50 degrees here in Tallahassee, warm in South Florida, 77 down in Key West, and a nice little pocket of cool air up towards Tennessee, 47 degrees in Atlanta, and some 30s if you go a little bit farther north. Tomorrow's forecast, more of the same. 80 degrees here in Tallahassee under sunny skies, but some rain is going to be creeping its way towards our western areas like Arkansas as well as Louisiana. Temperature staying in the mid to upper 70s there. So let's take it back to the desk with Matt and Zach.
All right, thank you, Jake. Those temperatures around the southeast are going to be tumbling with the weather moving in.
Tumbling. I like that word.
Tumbling. I like temperatures tank.
Tank. Ooh, alliteration, my friend. Is that alliteration? Yeah.
I think so.
Alliteration. All right, let's switch it. Homecoming week. We're just going to stay on that, just not talk about sports. One big thing happening tonight, and that's Skit Night. Do you know about Skit Night?
Well, Skit Night, that's the time of year when you want to go out and support your fellow Knowles at the Union, I believe.
Ruby
Oh,
Diamond.
they're Ruby Diamond.
Ruby Diamond.
Zach knows more than me about this.
They upgraded.
They upgraded.
They upgraded.
I like that.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
It'll be doors open at 7. It starts at 8. Tons of student organizations and groups got involved. They submit their skits. These things take months to work out and months to plan and to talk to people, get it approved. So go on out. Support your Knowles. Go to Skit Night.
Yep, Skit Night will be fun. Another thing that's also going to be fun is a look at the national forecast.
Yeah!
I'm going to give you that one right now.
All right, Matt.
But we're going to start with Kate, not to be confused with our producer on today's show, but the tropical storm Kate spinning away in the Atlantic right now, as you can see here on the Atlantic infrared satellite. Well, a little late in the season, but here we do have a named storm. Now, Kate's racing off to the northeast right now, not going to be a threat to any land, just going to be a fish storm. We're not really following any major developments with Kate, but we're going to take a look at the cone anyway, just to be sure. Here's the data on Kate right now. She's right here out in the Atlantic, and 70-mile-per-hour winds may become a hurricane later on in the forecast, probably over the next day or so, but just briefly on Wednesday may become a hurricane. No threat to us. The biggest thing that we're looking at is it's almost the end of hurricane season. We're still seeing a system out here. Now, this is turning out to seem primarily because of the cold front that's draped across our area right now. Now, as we move into the rest of the national forecast, where are we looking? Where are we sitting? Here's where we are. We can see that we're pretty warm here in the southeastern United States, and then that Arctic air is starting to pour in towards the Montana area. We got Billings down in 37, 38 in Salt Lake City. Now, this is going to be a cooling trend over the next few days, and we do have quite a few blizzard and winter storm warnings to get to, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Now, look at all this snow up in the mountains here, the western mountains near Colorado. Salt Lake City. The ski slopes are going to be looking great after this passes through. But as that starts to move through, this will be transitioning into a severe weather event, especially for tomorrow for our friends in the plains. Let's look at that airport delays right now. Really nothing to speak about except for New York City. JFK, you're looking at a pretty large delay. You've been looking at that for a little while, mainly due to low ceilings. So the aircraft are having a hard time getting out of there at that time. But let's look at the winter weather. Just a quick look. We go from tropics to winter. That doesn't really make sense in the grand scheme of things, but it does, I promise you. Here it is. We've got a low pressure system starting to form, swirling away here near to the south of Salt Lake City. That'll start developing and moving across the country over the next few days, and that's going to be bringing in our next shot of cold weather. Here's what we've got going on. We got some blizzard warnings in effect for parts of Kansas and into Colorado. We got winter storm warnings into the northeast and northwest of that, up into the mountains. It's going to be a mess out here, and you're going to be hearing stories of snowfall over the next couple of days. Now let's put this into motion. Here's the low pressure centered starting right out here near the Four Corners region. As that moves over a little bit, that's going to start to develop and intensify quite a bit. This is going to be our first big storm, I guess, if you would like to call it that, of the season. Now you can see the cold front pretty clearly stretching across the plains. As that moves in, that could cause some severe weather in parts of Missouri. An enhanced risk is out there for severe weather. Not for our area, though. We're looking all clear here. Just a chance of rain as we're increasing. Here's tonight's temperatures. 30s, really cold and frigid out in Denver, and until tomorrow, let's look at that. Gorgeous day here in Tallahassee. May peak at 80 degrees, but I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy over the next couple of days. But the cool down is on the way, and Zach is going to be telling us more about that.
Yeah, you say cool down. There it is, 64 degrees, overcast skies. That dew point sitting at 58. So much cooler than what it has been these past few days, especially after all those records that we set last week, including the max high temperature ever recorded in Tallahassee for the month of November. Currently around the Big Bend, we're still sitting in those 50s to 60s. Look at that gradient, 59 to Thomasville and 72 in St. Mark's. So we are getting a little range from the 50s to the 70s. But when we talk about high temperatures, we really didn't boost that high. 63 was the high in Thomasville, 68 in Tallahassee, 63 in Quincy, and 61 in Bainbridge. The areas that were probably the warmest, portions of Taylor County and eastward, that's where a little bit of sunshine was. You can see that hue of red, some 70s and a few 80s closer towards Jacksonville and down towards Gainesville. 75 in Apalachicola, also a little warm spot the closer you got to the bay. Satellite and radar, we aren't dealing with any rain, even though the trough is still kind of centered just to the west of us, and that's why you can kind of see this darkish hue. Those are all those low clouds. Until the trough begins to move to the east of Tallahassee, you won't begin to see that clearing anytime soon. You're going to continue to deal with those low clouds, that low ceiling. We zoom on out, you can even see, again, the trough still centered right across the panhandle of Florida. Again, to the west of Tallahassee. Once it begins to move to the east, that's when those clouds will move with it, and those clearing skies, you can kind of see them just north of Montgomery heading on down towards New Orleans. Some clear skies heading our way. Current winds mainly out of the north after that front moved through, but we are calm. 3 to 7 miles an hour overall. We even have some 0-mile-an-hour winds in Valdosta and Bainbridge. Talking about those temperatures, we won't be warming up anytime tonight. We're all going to begin to dip down into those 50s, even potentially some low 50s in some interior areas of Georgia. By Wednesday, the model continues to have us warming up into the 70s. Again, that's all hesitant based on how the clouds roll over the next few days. When we talk about rainfall, again, that front continues to sweep off across the mainly the peninsula of Florida, continues to sweep through Orlando down towards Miami and portions of Naples, as well as eventually Key West, getting in on a couple of showers. For us here, we're going to continue to look at those clear skies once that trough pushes with that cold front. And still, we're dealing with those cooler temperatures. Mainly tonight, 50s across the board, 50 in Monticello, Tallahassee, and Quincy, 54 in St. Mark's. Here is Veterans Day forecast. That's tomorrow, everybody. We'll be looking at temperatures 55 in the morning, 70s by the afternoon. And finally, your 5-day forecast. We've got that game this weekend against rival NC State. They've given us some problems before. High temperature, 66 degrees. How's it looking at the desk?
Thanks, Zach. Actually, 40 years ago today, we saw the Edmund Fitzgerald sink off of the Lake Superior off the coast of Wisconsin. It was carrying 26,000 tons of pellets?
Yeah, these pellets are used for iron mining, and the ship took off from Superior, Wisconsin, across Lake Superior on a track towards Detroit, and it ran into this thing we call the Witch of November, which is a pretty cool phenomenon that I'd actually never heard about until just now. The polar jet stream that brings very strong winds through much of the Arctic actually sinks down towards the Great Lakes and causes very big windstorms that have caused 40% of all Great Lakes shipwrecks occur in November because of this. It's pretty cool.
That is crazy. I actually heard that this story made it into Gordon Lightfoot's song. Like, wow, it was that big of a deal.
A 1976 song called The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald did well in the charts.
That's
a pretty
crazy.
cool story that did well.
That big of a deal.
Yeah.
That's serious.
So let's send it back off to Zach with a look around the rest of the state of Florida.
Hey, thanks guys. Yeah, let's talk about the state of Florida. I just basically told you what's going on in Tallahassee and touched on Florida a little bit. Currently across the area, yeah, the sun's set. We're talking about moons now on our weather maps, of course, still getting used to it for me. 82 degrees in Orlando, 76 in Tampa, 67 in Jacksonville, 64 in Tallahassee. I highlight these four corner cities because can you spot the front on the weather map? Here is your temperature gradient. Just pushing through Orlando, Orlando will actually be dipping down into the 60s, very close to the upper 50s for lows tonight. And then the farther south you go, you get a little more rainfall with it. Those warmer temperatures, though, 82 in Miami. Wouldn't it be lovely to be in Key West, 83 degrees. Again, here's your satellite and radar. We're looking at the bulk of the moisture and the bulk of those clouds still draped across the peninsula north of Lake Okeechobee, moving through portions of Port St. Lucie and Martin counties, down towards West Palm Beach and Broward as well. That's where you can also notice a little bit of a wind shift. We don't see as defined a wind shift as we did say on yesterday's show, but the shift is still moving through Orlando, kind of draping on down towards Fort Myers, and that's where some of those heavier winds are, even though they aren't severe, 10 miles in Tampa and 9 in Fort Myers. But the front is there, and it's evident, especially on our water vapor imagery. You can see it push through Orlando. They're beginning to dry out. A lot of that moisture still, even though it's a little bit of moisture, not a washout, still sitting along the Palm Beaches. We take a radar tour. Not much going on in our neck of the woods across Tallahassee, just a little bit of ground clutter reflection from our radar images. As we head towards Jacksonville, the First Coast, Daytona Beach, not much to talk about. The front's already swooped through. You're dealing with that dry air. Here's where we begin to see the front. You can kind of see those pop-up showers stretching all the way from the Space Coast down on south of Sarasota. That's where the front is. Continues to move on through the Palm Beaches down into Miami-Dade County as well. A couple of those pop-up showers. Nothing strong or severe. We're just watching those showers move through. Once that front pushes through, everybody will begin to cool down. Here's your futurecast one more time. I know I've already shown you this, but here you go. You've got those clouds going to begin to push out of the region, especially on Wednesday evening for portions of Miami. For us, we're sitting dry up in Tallahassee. Tonight, we're looking at 50 in Tally, 80s everywhere else tomorrow. Check out Fort Myers, 90 degrees. It's going to be a hot one. We'll send it back to Chelsea and Jake at the desk.
All right, thank you very much, Zach. Let's talk this cool down that's on the way. We could be seeing a low in 44 degrees this Saturday. I'm looking forward to that.
Great hair weather.
Yeah, definitely. Now, for some perspective, that would be the lowest temperature we've had since a low of 42 degrees on March 30th. It will have been 8 months since we've seen a temperature that low in Tallahassee.
It's about time, okay?
And winter is on the way. It's going to be a cool winter thanks to that El Nino out in the Pacific. It's going to be pushing some cooler air towards us. For some perspective, the last time we saw a temperature in the 30s was back on March 8th with a low of 36, and we had a low of 22 once in February. Don't know if it's going to get that cold.
I can't wait for that, I'm telling you. But now let's take it out to Matt with the local.
Thanks, guys. We're going to look one more time at the weather forecast. I know we've seen it a lot today, but we're going to start here. Tallahassee, we're looking at 64 right now, as Zach pointed out. The moons are out because it does get dark quite a bit earlier here with that time change, about 5 o'clock. I'm not a fan of it, but if if you like those shorter days, the darker days early, then get out there and enjoy the darkness, I guess. 64 is where we're at right now, 60 up in Dothan. We're starting to creep into the 50s near Savannah, and that will be the cooling trend throughout the evening. Now, let's going to look at the satellite and radar across our region because we really don't see anything. We saw a couple low clouds this morning, but really those are starting to pass on through now. We're seeing the sunshine for the first time in the past couple of days. I'm very excited about that. And as those clouds move out, we could see a bit more cooling because the clouds act like a blanket of heat over our area. So maybe a little bit more cooling into tonight than we saw last night. But that will start to slowly warm up until we get our next cold front over the next couple of days. Right now, high pressure is in control of our area, steering the clouds on out of our region. As that starts to shift east just a little bit, we can see the cloud cover start to develop out near Dallas and into the Tennessee and Missouri area. This is going to be the next cold front that'll start to push through and into our region. Wednesday morning, you can really see where that line is starting to develop. It's not going to be a rain event for us. It's going to be a dry front, but could create a chance for a couple sprinkles and a little bit of cloud cover as it's moving through. The biggest feeling will be those temperatures. Here it comes. This is Thursday, and as that comes into our area, the cooler temps will be filtering in, the Arctic air actually, in behind it, and we'll start to feel a lot like what we're supposed to be feeling like this time of year. Now, current winds are pretty much primarily out of the north and the northwest. This is all behind that front as that high pressure is built in, really blowing the winds in from that general direction. Now, let's take a look at the futurecast once more here in a closer bit of area. We see that we're going to be cloud-free for the next couple of days, even into Wednesday, possibly a pop-up shower up near Montgomery and Dothan. As we move into tonight, 50 degrees is what we're calling for. Another very cool night. Might want to grab that jacket just in case if you are out there. The winds will be about 5 miles per hour. Now let's look into our weather wear. So what could we wear and what could we expect to wear over the next couple of days? Tomorrow, you can put the t-shirt back on once it warms up throughout the day. Again, on Thursday, it's going to be another warm day, so maybe swip back over to those sandals, but don't keep the winter clothes away long because Friday we're going to need them once again. Jeans and a light jacket, and into Saturday, we're going to be struggling to get out of the 60s in most of the area. And here's your week ahead. Those cooler temperatures are here Wednesday and Thursday. Look at that. It's going to be gorgeous. The highest we get, 83 degrees on Thursday. Friday and Saturday, it starts to cool down. We have Veterans Day tomorrow. It's going to be a gorgeous day to head outside, maybe go hiking. I don't know. It's going to be a good day. Saturday, we got that football game and a very cool flyover if you are heading out there. 66 is our high for Saturday, and those temperatures are going to be sticking around for the next couple of days, even Monday and Tuesday. The rain chances start to head up just a little bit, creeping up there, but gorgeous temperatures, feeling a lot more like it should be this time of year. But Jake, Chelsea, take us home.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to a lot of that. We're going to have some beautiful, beautiful weather for the next week with a lot of activities going on around campus. We got the Zach Brown Band War Chant on Thursday night. Don't forget Veterans Day tomorrow. Friday, we have our homecoming parade as well as the powwow event featuring Amy Schumer. Saturday, 66 degrees under mostly sunny skies for what's going to be a fun game against North Carolina State.
Yes, please come out and support your Seminoles, guys. Game's at 12:30.
Yeah, the jackets could be useful, though.
Yes, they can, definitely.
Something I'm definitely not used to.
Definitely.
All year, every game I've been to, it's been 83 degrees. It's going to be really refreshing to see that, and that's going to be sticking around for a while, though it's going to be warming back up into the 70s as we go later on into the week, but staying very, very comfortable, a lot better than what we had a couple weeks ago.
Definitely. Also, one more event we can go out and celebrate is our fair,
North Florida
our local fair.
Running until Sunday.
Now,
if you like our show, you can like us at our Facebook.com/FSU Weather. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at FSU Weather. And if you like us that much, you want to watch a little more, we're also on livestream.com. We have all of our shows there on livestream.com/FSU Weather. So, for all of us here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Jay Karstens.
And I'm student meteorologist Chelsea Lorenzen.
Have a fantastic night.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.